Oh yeah. This might not be what you expected, but it is everything I've always wanted. This is the Raptor. And that is a terrible name for this massive fleet carrier. It should have been called Babylon or Titan or Jormungandr. Something vaguely esoteric and imposing so that when you see it pop up on radar, you know it's on its way to go blow up a planet. Just look at this thing. It is simultaneously stylish and intimidating. I haven't even messed around with it, that's just the default paint job. This metallic red over mosaic armor plating. I'm in love with the design language here. Part raider ship, part stained glass window. This is the beautiful broken style I never knew I always wanted in my life. And I know I tend to use hyperbole and exaggerate the size of things, but holy hell, this is easily the biggest ship I've ever taken out of dock. I can't give you any exact figures because they don't seem to exist, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's just a hair bit smaller than your mom. And unlike your mom, I can pilot it directly. Not just tell it where to collapse when it needs a 15-minute break. Though I can sit back and watch someone else drive if I feel like it. And I can mouth off like this because of one simple truth. My fleet carrier can take your fleet carrier any day of the week. The first thing you need to know is that this ship has 101 guns on it. 101 independent turrets spread throughout the length of the ship. And you get to choose what kind. Personally, I've gone for the classic beam laser for each and every one. A good laser light show is fun for all ages. But there's an argument to be made for tactics, and a more varied layout of missiles, flak cannons, or bolt repeaters probably would have been more effective at taking down differing targets. But on the other hand, the noise this thing makes is ungodly. It is audible frosting, and all the more sweeter while it tears through enemy ships. It's like they're made out of cardboard. Spaceman Spiff better watch his back. Second, while this kind of ridiculous overkill makes me giggle like a schoolgirl, I am technically using this ship wrong. It is first and foremost a fleet carrier. This open front end simply isn't a stylistic design choice, it's a launch tunnel. Inside you'll find 21 independent docks for small fighter craft, and a larger medium one up on the main deck. All told, the Raptor can hold 130 ships at once, capable of being deployed at a moment's notice. Or honestly, whenever I want to reduce something down to atoms. The real firepower of the Raptor isn't the 100+ guns I can lay to bear, it's the murderous swarm I carry with me. And you may well swat down a few, but you won't get them all. Facing off against a fully loaded Raptor, there is simply no recourse, no quarter, no path to victory when faced with it. You're going to lose. There is only retreat. Unfortunately, you'll have plenty of opportunity. Because this thing is slow. Face-meltingly, mind-bendingly slow. And it makes sense considering how large it is, but it doesn't make it any less infuriating. Because of its sheer size, I can't use the highways that connect the core sectors together, and the solitary engine in the rear can only do so much. So you'll be relegated to travel mode exclusively for reaching any destination. A travel mode that, in my experience with stock parts, gaps out at a comparatively glacial 1400 meters per second. And it's gonna take a few minutes to build up that kind of speed at all. You should be prepared to budget the better part of an hour to move this slab of metal over more than one sector. And honestly, it should make sense to hand over the controls and go get a sandwich. But for some reason, the vast majority of crew you can hire are more than happy to simply cut power to engines and coast leisurely to the next jump point at impulse speed, periodically coming to a full and complete stop to realign the ship ever so slightly before proceeding any further. And this, regrettably, seems to be the biggest flaw not only with this ship, but the entire universe. You are quite literally surrounded by idiots. Something I can only hope is gradually changed over time as they're subjected to my apparent tactical brilliance. In short, you're going to need patience. And if you've already happened to procure a Raptor for yourself, you'll know all about patience. See, there's only a couple of ways you can actually get this thing. You could try stealing one, but I'd advise against it. The rare few you'll find are indeed understaffed and not fully armed, but you are far more likely to blow the thing up than succeed in taking it. And even if you do, you're still going to pay a large sum of money to repair it, stock it, and complete its arsenal, all while cheesing off an entire faction for stealing their flagship. No, far better to buy the thing the way you want it in the first place. And that means making nice with one of the split factions, and then getting them to love you, either through trade or combat or missions, until they decide that you have permission to buy the thing. At which point you now have the privilege of spending around 60 million credits for a fully kitted fleet carrier. But just because you can buy it doesn't mean they can build it. So you should be prepared to send out a small fleet of trade ships to acquire the parts they need so they can begin constructing it. And then you can wait even longer, for 44 minutes, as it's assembled in front of you, fresh out of the oven. And of course, none of this is counting the couple $100 million you're going to spend filling it up with fighters. That's going to take a bit longer. All told, if you know what you're doing, you can beeline towards this ship in about 8 to 10 hours, but you probably shouldn't. You're just not going to have any use for it. This isn't a ship I simply bought for a large sum of money. It's a ship that I had to earn by fundamentally changing the power structure of the galaxy. And it's all but useless unless I have the infrastructure and ambition to back it up. What good is a fleet carrier without a fleet? As much as I absolutely love this ship, everything from the design to its obscene firepower, for the most part, I don't actually enjoy being in it. It is, realistically, completely impractical for most activities. It's simply too slow and too cumbersome to be useful. I'm not going to use this thing to explore or mine or even do one-off assassination missions. That's not what it's for. I mean, I could do those things, but I'd probably be very bored for 2 of them and very angry at how long it took to do the 3rd. This isn't a trophy. It's a chess piece. A tool for changing the galaxy. And I love it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button for the algorithm and leave a comment down below with what you want to see next. The soundtrack used here is available on the Patreon for free. And if you're already subscribed, thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.